I have a couple of thank yous I want to do for the Free State Festival. I mentioned our National Endowment for the Grants, or National Endowment for the Arts Grant, which has really made this whole program possible. The City of Lawrence, Explore Lawrence, the Lawrence Journal World, KU African and African American Studies, the Lawrence Public Library, Lawrence Business Magazine, Kansas Public Radio, and KU Film and Media Studies. Give them a round of applause because they do it already. So we are celebrating American Pachuco, Legend of Luis Valdez. This is the Kansas premiere of the film. You can't see this film anywhere else in the state, so give yourselves a round of applause for being here. One of the first in the state to see this movie. I wanted to ask who here is familiar with Luis Valdez before you walk in. Okay, about half, and other people are just going to be learning this incredible story for the first time, so thank you. This film won the Audience Award for Best U.S. Documentary at the Sundance Film Festival, and the best film or festival favorite of the entire Sundance Festival this past year. So what an honor to have this film here. It is entertaining, it is enlightening, and it's going to be inspirational for you all. So I'm so happy that you all are here. Before we watch this film, I want to introduce a friend of mine, Neill Esquibel-Kennedy. She's from the KU American Studies program. And she's going to share a little bit of insight about this legend of Luis Valdez for us so we can be primed and ready for this incredible film. Thank you, Neill.
Hello, welcome everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to Free State Festival. If you haven't been able to check out other programming, please do. They have it every year since 2011, correct?
Yeah, 2011.
Yeah, so been going on for a long time, and they always put on great programming, but we're especially honored to have the American Pachuco, the legend of Luis Valdez today. I was first introduced to the work of Luis Valdez as a child through the 1987 smash hit La Bamba, which follows the tragically short life of the 1950s Mexican-American rock and roll star Richie Valens. As a millennial Chicana, La Bamba was required viewing in my Topeka Mexican-American household anytime it was on TV. Even though the story is distinctly 1950s Southern California, it spoke to all the generations of my Mexican Kansas family through its themes of cultural belonging and familial bonds. Among Valdez's many gifts, his ability to tap into the Mexican-American experience across time and place may be his greatest. The documentary's inclusion of Pachuco in its title places Valdez within the larger mythos of Chicano identity that is often at odds with both ideas of American assimilation and traditional Mexican culture. The Pachuco subculture, stylized through the infamous zoot suit, formed in the late 1930s and flourished in the 1940s wartime society, which simultaneously opened doors to better paying jobs for men of color and women, but also harshly regulated dissent and anything deemed un-American. The zoot suit would come to epitomize excess which flew in the face of wartime rationing laws. Pachucos were cast as anti-American and criminalized for their fashion. Even though many zoot suiters were servicemen or become servicemen. Like my grandfather, Celedonio Esquibel, he was gifted his first zoot suit as a hand-me-down by his Black Mexican cousins in Topeka before he was drafted in 1944. Stories like my grandfather's are not unique, and a variety of these experiences are represented in Valdez's play-turned-film zoot suit, which, much like La Bamba, continues to influence his generation since its 1979 premiere. My alma mater, Topeka High School, put on a production of Zoot Suit in 2018. Alongside the play, Topeka High worked with community organizations to host supplementary events. One of these events was a panel of community elders, which included my grandfather. This was only 2 years before my grandfather passed away, and I will always treasure the fact that his life was honored and uplifted while he was still here to see it. The confluences and contradictions of Chicano identity are constant themes throughout Valdez's entire body of work. This is why I believe the documentary is not named The American Pachuco, but just American Pachuco. As we are about to see, Luis Valdez's story is amazing and worth being highlighted. But one man's history is not the only story. Valdez's career emphasizes the desire and the need to tell multiple stories and understand how our lives are interconnected with the past, present, and future. Furthermore, American Pachuco's premiere this year coincides with revelations of United Farm Workers co-founder Cesar Chavez's years of grooming and abuse of women and girls. For decades, Chavez has been held up as one of these great men of history, the face of a movement. Now, years after his passing, it is the rest of us that are left to pick up the pieces of his betrayal power. American Pachuco's director, David Alvarado, has addressed how this exposure of abuse has not only changed the documentary, but altered how we narrate history. In a written statement, Alvarado explains the edits made in the aftermath of the March 18th revelations, which kept Chavez in the film, but removed what he called, quote, the admiring framing of Chavez. He continues by writing, quote, the result is a film that tells the truth about the movement without letting one man's mythology absorb the credit that belongs to the women, farm workers, and Filipino organizers who built it with him. The film is more important now than ever, more than it was when it premiered. History shifted under our feet in the middle of the release, and we have been given the rare gift of time to shift with it. With Cesar's downfall, the Latino community can't afford to let the rest of the farm worker and Chicano movements go down with him. This new cut is a first step towards the historical conversation we need to be having now, unquote. Alvarado's decision to edit the film after its initial premiere in January showcases how history is an ever-evolving narrative that we collectively as a society must have a say in crafting. Everyone's stories matter. Valdez, as a creator of stories, embraces this fact. While the documentary is about him, it's also about a movement, about people who refuse to let their histories be written for them. So with that, please enjoy the documentary.